It goes me again. I was trying. Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Karen Laughlin. I'm with ECAC. I'm a parent educator. Doing this for about 11 years. Some of you might have seen me on some screens before. Thank you for joining us. If you just want to get settled, we're going to use time very efficiently, but we do know that it'll take people a minute to all get here. As you come in, would you please take a look at the blackboard here where it says time for change? And without thinking about it too much, please use chat to just enter your reaction to that. It could be an emoji, could be a thought, could be the name of a feeling, could be whatever it is. A couple of words is all we're looking for. So please use chat for that as you're getting settled, because we are talking about transitions, and transitions are all about changes. And as humans, we tend to have thoughts and feelings about that. So let's see what your thoughts and feelings are about that as we get settled today. Thank you for joining us. We'll just give it another minute or so. Right, here they come, the responses. All right, I'm Karen Laughlin with ECAC. Welcome to Tool Time Tuesday. And I'm joined by Andrea Young, who is a parent educator like I am, and also our communications specialist. So we're going to do this a little bit together. As you're getting settled, please take a look at the graphic where it says on the blackboard, time for change, and give us your thoughts or feelings or an emoji or something about your feelings or thoughts about the topic of change. A lot of us as humans have different kinds of reactions. So let's take a look and see what they are as we're getting started. Uncertainty, stress, excitement, newness. We got a worried face, I guess, sad and scared, and a comment that this is all new. So, and I think it's a fine line between excitement and stress, right? I think our bodies are sometimes unsure what the difference is depending on your wiring and such too. That can get really complicated. Uh-oh, somebody looks like I don't know, what would you call that, Andrea? What is a name for that face? And we have, go ahead, what do you think?
Concerned.
Yeah, like, oh, it's this. Oh. And then we have a comment that change is good. So I think we got a good range, and we're going to go ahead and get started because these things go quickly, as you know, if you've joined us for Tool Time Tuesday before. So we're talking about transitions in special education. Let's define that term first of all. Okay. Transition you might hear it in a lot of ways in special ed. What the word transition in the way we're using it today is talking about a change that comes typically at the start of a new school year. So the change is kind of along the way, but we're talking about a change to a new grade or to a new level of school. And I've listed here the different levels. And so you can picture the transitions as being between these levels. And just to help us focus, if you could use chat one more time for us and let us know which of these levels your child is at right now. And that'll help us know what the transition you're preparing for is. So please let us know the level of your child right now, whether they're very young, early intervention, or 3 years old, or 4, receiving preschool, or at any of these other levels. And that way, if everybody could put in something real quick, I will be able to target the rest of the presentation to what I know you're here for. And Andrea, will you help with that, please?
Yeah, right now it looks kind of all over the place.
All over the place. Okay.
Yeah, we have a preschool, pre-K to kindergarten, first grade, middle school,
okay,
high school. Yeah, kind of
okay. So
runs the gamut.
do we have anybody that you can tell going into preschool services, or can we kind of skip that one? If they're saying the child is in preschool now, if you
One
want
is from pre-K to kindergarten. Someone did have just preschool, so I'm not sure where that.
okay. All right.
To preschool actually. So
okay. So we're talking about these bigger transitions, which occur, you start to prepare for them in the spring. Or you can absolutely prepare in the spring. Sometimes you'll have sort of a formal meeting or an information session that the district will offer if it's one of these big changes, especially as children get older. Sometimes it's something you can initiate yourself, and based on what you see here this afternoon, or you might think you want to reach out to somebody at school about some of the things we're going to cover. There is another use about children being not so good at transitions, like from art back to their classroom to lunch, the transition from a preferred activity to a less preferred activity. You might hear that kind of talk and with IEPs and special ed, but we're doing the bigger version of that today. Here are the considerations for all transitions. And so we're going to start with these, and I'd like you to either jot these down or put these in the back of your mind as we move forward and look at the individual transitions. But these are our guiding questions. First one, what do all parents need to know about what's coming? What are the expectations for the upcoming grade level in terms of both academics, behavior, participation, things like that? Especially again, when you're looking at the bigger transitions from levels, like from elementary to middle, or middle to high school, or certainly high school to the rest of your life is where you're going to see us call it. There are questions that apply to all the children. And so our kids with disabilities are students in their school and community members in their school community first and foremost. So things that all parents would want to know, make sure you start asking about those. One of the things that can help you do is consider these other points. First one being, and I'm going to thank the person who said that change can be good. Let's think about what might go well. Sometimes change presents opportunities. One example is maybe if your elementary school is feeling a little small for your child, they haven't been able to make a friend or two very well. Maybe when they go to middle school and that student pool opens up, they're going to find some kids that they have more common interests with. So that would be an example of something that might go well. Kids going to high school get to choose more electives. They get to pursue their interests. So that's a thing that might go well. And just like when IEPs start with student strengths, when we think about what might go well based on our child's interests and strengths, that will give us some clues about how their education can look. Of course, the flip side to that, and where a lot of us have a lot of feeling, is about what might be hard, what might be harder. And if your child struggles with all change, like the smaller transitions that I referred to, in addition to big changes, then it's right to be concerned. And if you gather the information about what's coming, you can identify specifically what you think might be challenging. You also can talk to your child about it if they're able to communicate with you about that type of thing, and ask them, what are their concerns? What might they be worried about? I'll just share a quick little example from my own life, because at ECAC, we all have children or young adults at this point, for some of us with disabilities. And my daughter with a math learning disability and all kinds of visual spatial things just was so intimidated by even the thought of a locker with a combination on it that she straight up was never even considering trying to learn that thing or how to do that spinny stuff, and just was going to carry everything. I mean, seriously, she did carry everything every moment of high school. So that was a challenge that she locked down on. We couldn't really, and chose not to pursue a plan in place, but sometimes it's the little things, right, that you might not see coming. But sometimes it's bigger things and you can see them coming. So that next question, what can we do ahead of time to make it easier? So all the children that are moving up a grade next year, you can do things to get to know where that new classroom is, or to meet that teacher, to ask questions, learn about the curriculum, learn about the expectations for behavior and learning, and think about how you might build some steps in place to make that transition smoother. This doesn't have to be handled through an IEP necessarily. It might just be some communication as one school year winds down and the next one, is getting ready to start, about coming over to the building or meeting the teacher, things that will help. You can ask for any number of adjustments and personalized experiences for your child. And here's a really big question, the last one: what supports or services might help? It's a little tricky if you think about special ed being based on data-based decisions, right, to the greatest extent possible. It's a little hard to rearrange supports based on future concerns, but sometimes it's possible to talk about, based on what we know about my child, based on what we've seen this school year, might we want to consider some adjustments for next year? Sometimes the suggestion might be, well, we would need to do that in August, as the school year is officially starting. We could do that kind of thing. But put this in the back of your mind: if there are some things that you can see coming, might you want to start talking with teachers and with IEP team members, or in a meeting sooner rather than later, and just kind of get some ideas out there. All right, Andrea, let's have a short pause for questions. And other than that, we're going to go to the specific transitions and see what kind of considerations we might want to identify for each of them. I'll give it just a breath here to see if people are typing.
Not see any questions yet, but anyone have a question, feel free to type that into the chat.
We're using just chat, right?
Yeah, we can use Q&A too, but chat right now.
Okay.
I'll check both.
We're not a huge group. I don't think that'll get chaotic, but it is a great size group, by the way. We got 27 of us here. That's wonderful. Okay, so the transition from early intervention to preschool, I think we don't need to pay special attention to, but it is a big one. If you have friends or family or colleagues who have a very young child who will be 3, and they're going to make this transition to preschool services, please let them know about us. We have a lot of specialized information on this transition. It's a big one because it's on the child's 3rd birthday, the responsibility goes to their local school district to provide services. So that's the first time entering the whole world of IEPs and special education language and processes. So, but unless somebody speaks up in the chat right now and says, yes, that is me, I'm going to move through this and spend our time where we know our people are. Looks like we're okay. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So preschool to kindergarten. This is a big one for all parents, going to kindergarten. And we used to always refer to it as going to the big school. And I think that's, part of why it's such a big deal. It's going to be all day, 5 days a week, most of the time. And a lot of children, even if they've been in a private preschool or receiving special ed preschool services, have not gone to school 5 days a week all day. And some of them are still napping, the summer before kindergarten. So there could be concerns about them having to be learning and participating, getting along with others the whole day. Kids are going to be exposed to the Common Core curriculum. So that's something you can look up for sure. What does the Common Core curriculum say that kindergarten is about? And I will say this: no matter how young you are here with us today, it's not the kindergarten you attended. Expectations are higher for reading, for math. Math has been changed, I've heard, and in ways that many parents are just kind of not familiar with how math looks these days. So I would encourage you to look it up. The National PTA is great for this. There's all kinds of information on If you just do a search for North Carolina kindergarten curriculum, Common Core, you'll be fine. Kids are gonna hit the building with various degrees of experience. Some kids have always been home. Some kids have been in daycare all the time. Some kids have been in preschool setting, receiving special education. You know, it just kind of depends. And so I love a phrase I heard the preschool coordinator in New Hanover County say. We were having a workshop about the transition kindergarten. And basically the gist of it was your child doesn't have to be 100% ready for kindergarten, because kindergarten is going to be ready for them. We take them how they come. And so please don't worry about that. We have parents reach out to us a lot and say, well, they can't go potty yet. Well, okay. That becomes part of special ed. They may not know letters yet. Maybe their reading is way off the charts. We have kids with disabilities with all kinds of individual, with the unique needs, as they say. So ideally, you're having a transition meeting, and in my kind of favorite way, it would look, listening to parents talk about these meetings over many years, is that maybe a kindergarten teacher would be there, or somebody familiar with the curriculum. So think about building your team so that the right people are there, and think about what the data about the preschool or current abilities is looking like, and what kind of supports might be needed. Ask all the questions you want so that you can know what kindergarten is going to look like from the moment they hit that door, so they can be successful. Let's move to within elementary. There is a change as kids, you know, especially going from into and out of third grade. So into third grade, fourth grade, there are some differences, for example, that are listed here. Standardized testing kicks in with about the third grade. At a certain point, we're kind of not teaching reading as much as using what we're reading, right? So if your children are struggling with reading, you want to be aware of that shift and think about, are there some additional supports that might be helpful and needed? Sometimes they treat the fourth and fifth graders like little grown-ups, you know, and they're expected to be a lot more independent. And as we know, children with disabilities, their level of independence is not always going to match up with their age. So keep an eye on that. They may be going from classroom to classroom already for different subject matter, which is, you know, if there's different expectations, different styles among the different teachers, that can sometimes add a challenge. So you know your child, and think about, again, what positive things might there be about this change? What are they ready for? But what might they encounter that would be a bit more challenging? And you can start talking with your team, get their guidance, get their advice. When can we start looking at supports? Can we talk about some things now? Should we meet early in the school year? What's the best way to go here? Elementary to middle, that's a big one, right? Like literally, because the school is probably going to get a lot bigger. If you're unless you're in such a small area that's not the case, typically you're going to join forces with students from other elementary schools, go in this big new building. Think about the implications of sensory issues, of the physical challenges that some students might face navigating a larger building. All kinds of challenges. Like I mentioned, is middle school when the lockers start? What's going on with PE? Are we expected to have uniforms yet, or does that not happen in high school? So there's a lot of information you want to gather about the middle school. There is going to be this sense of so many new people, most likely. Could be a good thing, could be a challenge. Absolutely, we're dealing with increased workload. Expectations are getting higher. Middle school teachers are always thinking about preparing kids for high school, as they should. If your child is, you know, not ready or able to handle the expectations, that's something you're going to need to navigate. And I would always encourage parents to say, I absolutely will be the first person to celebrate when they are ready, but right now they may not be functioning quite like the other children at their age. I mean, I make that very clear. Our children are changing too, right? I don't know what you've seen about the research on puberty is indicating it's happening sooner and sooner. But kids at some point, it's going to kick in. The hormones are they're going to be changing themselves. So in addition to school changing, there's going to be that to deal with, in some beautiful and I don't know, mixed emotions for the parents, right? Some of you that are listening probably can't even picture your little one ever hitting puberty, but it's going to happen. So think about that. Monitor your own child as they're changing. How's that affecting their needs? How's that affecting their strengths? How do we prepare for that in school, meet those needs? Remember, it's all about the unique needs. And as the needs shift, maybe because the child is shifting, you want to reconsider supports. All right. Middle to high school, huge one. This is a really big transition. Going back some of the similar things, and I think the top three are exactly the same. But I want to land here a little bit, because part of what is going to happen in the spring of the 8th grade year is do you see the cursor, Andrew? I'm trying to highlight here the section about course of study. And choosing a schedule, getting set up for the high school coursework. And some districts will do IEP meetings with every 8th grader in the spring to specifically talk about this transition to high school. Others will be more selective and do kids where there are some questions and important decisions to be made. So please pay attention as a parent. If you are not getting invited to a transition to high school meeting, you can ask about some of these things. Course of study refers to the curriculum and the path towards a diploma that your student will be on. We have two types of diplomas in our state. One is based on the standard course of study, which is called the Future Ready 4. And the other is the occupational course of study, which is connected to the Future Ready core curriculum as it is required to be, but focuses more on work readiness, can focus somewhat on daily living skills, but primarily getting kids ready for jobs. It will include work experience. And different schools, again, handle that different ways. So that would be one of your questions. And how do we meet the work requirements for this diploma? This occupational course of study is designed for children with specific levels of challenges. And there is information on the occupational course of study that if you would like to have it, we can send to you, or you can search our website for Pathway to Adulthood. And there are a series of worksheets. Andrew, can you pop a few of those in chat while we're doing this?
Yep.
The graduation requirements and the course of study, please. But this is a big moment in many students' lives. I will say the vast majority of students who are going to get a diploma do it in the standard way. They take the standard course of study with special education services and accommodations. How special ed is delivered at any given high school is another thing to learn about. What are the options? There are lots of ways that can happen, and it's really good to ask the questions. In addition to the two diploma paths, we have a certificate option. This is for students with significant cognitive disabilities, and that phrase has a very precise definition. And this is a very small percent of students, it's not supposed to be more than about 1% of students who are learning on what is called the extended content standards. Anybody whose child is learning based on that curriculum and those standards and that assessment if you've had a meeting this year already, you will have gone through a process with your IEP team to make sure that you're really well informed about the implications of that, and you will have there will have been like a bunch of boxes to be checked in the data system. So if you have questions about that, if that's a discussion you're not sure how that's going to go this spring, please let us know. We'd love to talk about these issues with families one-on-one, kind of help you know what those meetings will look like, what the considerations are. Transition to the rest of your life, that's what high school is. One of the stated purposes of special education is to plan children for help children plan for their future with family involvement and participation. So high school is about the coursework, and it's also about setting goals and services being provided for the future, whether it's work, whether it's education, and always about independence to the greatest degree possible for each given student. So that is, again, another very wide topic. But at age 14 and at age 16, the year that your child will turn those ages, you'll see different sorts of transition. They call it, they call that transition to adulthood. You'll see specific discussions start, assessments will need to be given, goals set, activities lined up for your child's high school years, especially once they are in the range of 16. So that was a lot, and we have a couple of minutes. I see there's a little bit in the chat, and we're also going to wind up with a poll so that we can collect the data we need to show our funders at the federal government that we're working. How are we looking with the chat there, Andrea?
There is one comment. Someone doesn't feel like their daughter is getting the support and assistance they need. So I am just writing her back to get in touch with our office. I will put in the link to our contact page.
Right.
So
And that's
please.
a good point, because you want to end with a strong of a finish to this school year as is all at all possible, so that they are ready to go to that next step. It is kind of starting to wind down quickly, but it is absolutely not done yet. So if you feel like that you want to get these last few months of the school year used better, and you're not sure exactly how to approach that with your IEP team, please do reach out individually. We also have the topic of extended school year that we do not have really time to cover, but if you're thinking that the summer will prevent you, some form of special ed services in the summer might keep your child from losing progress and losing momentum in a significant enough way. With spring break coming up, you could ask about data collection before and after spring break and keep an eye on progress, and have that discussion about how extended school year might help kind of bridge this gap too. There are some specific ways you qualify for that. We can address that in a one-on-one kind of follow-up as well. We're going to have to pop up the poll, which does not mean we won't take these last questions, but let's see if we can kind of multitask here a little bit. Please do let us know if this was useful and all the different things here so that we can send in our report. And we're always looking to improve. So if you have anything you'd like us to do better, maybe you're thinking, wow, that was a lot for a half hour, and I agree with you. So please pay attention. We'll see if we have any other webinars on the topic coming up or events in your area. Or again, you can always let us know how we can help you by email or by phone, anything like that. Getting a floating heart. Isn't that nice? Thank you. All right, what do we got in the chat, Andrea? Last ones.
We do not have any other questions, but we do have about 2 more minutes. So happy to take any questions if anyone has any, and as we start wrapping up this Tuesday. Okay. Thank you to everyone for filling out that.
Yeah, we appreciate that. That's something we are obligated to do. Again, if you're sitting there feeling like, boy, that was great, but now I've got more questions than when I started, that's a good thing. That's okay. We're out here. You've got your staff in your school. You've got, some districts have a parent liaison. They have an EC coach. They have all kinds of layers of expertise. If you're not getting quite enough answers from your school-based team, you know, and you can give us a call. We can kind of give you some ideas of how people reach out to other levels of expertise when they need to. But we appreciate your time today.
Yeah, I do not see any questions, but I did
Okay.
want to mention that next Tuesday, March 12th, we will be joined by Tally Wells, the Executive Director of the North Carolina Council on Developmental Disabilities, or NCCDD. Her presentation will be in honor of Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and NCCDD improves opportunities and lives of over 180,000 North Carolinians with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. So tune in to learn more about their advocacy in action. And one more, let's see, there's one more comment. Oh, please share how I can speak to someone one-on-one on getting better support.
You have that link there for that.
Yeah, I did put in the link directly to our contact form on our website. So if you fill that out, you will be connected to one of our parent educators who will be able to talk with you one-on-one about your specific questions and things that you have going on.
Yeah, please do pursue that. All right. Well, thank you for been out this time in the middle of your day. If you were eating at your desk, we hope you had a good lunch, or maybe that's what you're going to do next. But thank you, and we'll see you next time. That next Tool Time sounds really good. So hope to see you then.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.